Hey guys, this is Mr. Grace for Algebra 2 Unit 5.6 Notes, Day 2 video, number 2. Now, we've already gone over all of the front, so hopefully you paid attention to it because you're not going to get this backside if you didn't. Now, determine the characteristics of each polynomial function. Okay, so if you need to go back, flip it back and forth, as you can see, I'm going to be doing that as well. Just to remember the definitions of everything. Okay, so starting with domain, we know that domain is our x values. So we're looking to start this off from left to right. Are there any limitations on this graph? And no, it's not. So our domain goes from negative infinity to positive infinity. Now the range is our y values. I want to know, what is the lowest this graph goes? Well, that's the lowest it goes, and then it goes all the way up. Now, that is not -3. It is below -3. Okay, so you're going to have to do a little bit of guesstimating here. I'm going to say that's about -3.2, but then it goes all the way up to positive infinity. Okay, now the local maximum, that's where it goes from increasing to decreasing. So you need to look and find out, where does this graph go up? Where does the graph go down? And that is where the local maximum is. Okay, so it's not directly at -1. I think it's a little to the left of that. So we're going to call that point up. Sorry, it's a point. -1.1, -1, right? I'm sorry, not 1.5, right in the middle. Okay? Sorry, I did that point wrong. You can see it's just a little to the left of that. There we go. Okay? Now, the local minimum is where it goes from decreasing to increasing. Okay? So I'm looking, where does it go down? It's going down here, and then it starts going up again. So I'm going to have two minimas, local mins. Okay? And we put them in order from left to right. So we're at, it looks like there's -3, so about -3. Oh, it's -3.2, -3.2. So -3.2, -3.2. That's one of them. And then my other one, I'd say it's about, this is halfway and it's a little bit past that. So I'm going to say 0.6. And then it's about, there's half, so maybe about 0.8, 0.7. Yeah, -0.7. Okay? Just do your best when you're doing these. Okay? Now, where is my graph increasing? Well, it's increasing from those points to here. Okay? So I'm increasing from, what was that, -3.2? So from -3.2 to, yeah, -1.1. That's my first spot where I'm increasing. And then you can see we take this little break for a second, and then it starts increasing again from 0.6. So from 0.6 to positive infinity. Okay? Guys, I know you're just going to have to do your best with writing some of these down. I know it's hard. Okay? Now, my decreasing, well, I'm decreasing here, and then here. There are 2 points, 2 sections where we're decreasing. and that's from negative infinity to negative 3.2. There's a break, and then from 1.1, negative 1.1 to 0.6. Okay, just remember when we're using numbers, we're using brackets, and when we're using positive or negative infinity, we're using the parentheses. Okay? Now my x-intercepts are just where the graph crosses the x-axis. Okay? And we've got a bunch. All right, so we have negative 4, 0. We have negative 2, 0. We have 0, 0. And then we have 1, 0. Just do your best writing them all down. Okay? Now our y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. And there's only one. It's at 0, 0. Okay. So now I'm going to look at my y-axis. And where are we greater than or equal to 0? And if you can see that there are 3 different portions, okay? From here, then it goes up and down, and then it goes up again, okay? So from negative infinity was at negative 4, and then we stop. And then there's a break. And then it's above 0 again, greater than or equal to 0, from negative 2 to 0. And then there's another break. And then from 1 to positive infinity. Okay? Now, we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to see where is it less than 0. Okay, so there's 2 little portions to where it's less than or equal to 0. Okay? And that's from negative 4 to negative 2. And then there's a break, and then from 0 to 1. Okay? If you notice, with the x-intercepts and the greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 0, all of those numbers come into play. Okay? And the last thing that we're looking at is we're looking at the left side and the right side of the graph. Well, the right side is rising, and the left side and the right side are both rising. Okay? So rising and rising. All right, next one. Our domain are x values, negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, now our range, I'm going to be looking for the highest point because everything else is going down. Okay, so what that tells me is from negative infinity, because that's where we really start, from negative infinity, and then the highest that it gets is about 4.8. Okay, so I'm going to find out where's my graph increasing. It's increasing here. It's increasing here. And then I'm decreasing. Then we start decreasing. So I have a maxima, and a minima. Okay? So we need to estimate where those at. My maxima right here, my max, and there's my min. Okay? So for my 2 local maxes, I'd say that's about negative 2.9, comma 4.8, because it's not all the way up there to 5, but it's close. And then my other max point is about 2.2, and it's not exactly a 2, it's just a little below it, so I'm going to call it 1.9. Okay, my local min is at 0, negative 1.1. Okay, now I want to see if you guys can get the rest of this part on your own, because we've talked about it before in other different versions of graphs. So why don't you pause the video and try to get those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions on your own. Pause the video and good luck. Okay, and there you go. You can see that we are increasing from negative infinity to negative 2.9, and then from 0 to 2.2. We are decreasing. Hold on, let me get this guy. So I was increasing here, and then increasing here, and then I'm decreasing from negative 2.9 all the way down to 0, and then we're decreasing again from 2.2 to negative or to positive infinity. My x-intercepts 1, 2, 3, and 4. My y-intercept is right here, which was also one of our minimas, so I just wrote down the same point. I am greater than 0 from negative 4 to negative 1, and then from 1 to 3, and then I am below, greater or less than or equal to 0 from negative infinity to negative 4, negative 1 to 1, and then from 3 to infinity. And then the left side and the right side, end behavior, we are falling for both of those. Okay? Now, one more, number 3. Okay? Taking a look at it real quick, I like to write down where we're decreasing. Let's see, and then I'm decreasing, where I'm increasing, going through and marking down my intercepts. Okay? And then I can also go through and highlight where I'm below, where I'm above, and then if I have right there, that's my minimum too. Okay? So this is my max and this is my min. Okay? So why don't you guys see if you can use all that information to write down all of the information. Okay? Go ahead and pause that video and good luck. Now, if you still need help, I'm just going to talk about it quickly. Okay? Now, my domain, my x values is from negative infinity to positive infinity. My range is also negative infinity to positive infinity, and that is because, well, one side is falling. That's my right side. I'm actually going to write that down right now. And then the other side up here is rising. Okay? Now, my local max, that high point, is about 3.4. And then it's maybe about 3.3, 3.4. Okay, that's this point right here. Now my minimum, that's at 0 again. Or no, not at 0. Maybe it's a little bit past 0. I think I did it too quick. There it is. Okay, so that's at about negative 0.1 and negative 1. I am increasing from negative 0.1 all the way to my maximum point right here to 3.4. I am decreasing from negative infinity to that min, negative 0.1, and then we start decreasing again from 3.4 to positive infinity. Okay? Did I have a little more room over here? Yeah. Make that look a little bit nicer. Okay? Now my x-intercepts, those should be very easy to find. Okay, -1, 0. I'm at 1, 0, and then at 5, 0. My y-intercept right here, let's call that 0, and it's just a little bit above -1, so -0.9. I am greater than 0 from negative infinity to -1, and then again from 1 to positive 5. I am less than or equal to 0 from -1 to 1, and then there's a break, and then from 5 to positive infinity. Okay? Now, I know some of this stuff can be tricky, so if you need extra help, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra 2, Unit 5.6 Notes, Day 2, Video number 2. Thanks for watching.